Good morning, everybody, from my windy day filming location inside the polytunnel. This is number 4 of the water tank splash pool series, and I thought I was going to get the old videos done by this one, but there's going to be one more after this, and then we're going to move into present day, and we'll push forward with the work. So I'm excited with what I'm working on now, but I'm also very excited to show you what I've done last year as well. If you haven't seen any of the series, you can watch the playlist up here and get caught up to speed. But in this video, I'm going to be laying a whole bunch of bricks. I do a little bit of rendering, and I feel like I really push on with the interior of the splash pool. A little side note, my safety standards in the old footwear department possibly aren't the greatest. I'm wearing my steel-toed flip-flops for much of the video. My footwear safety standards are much improved these days, so please don't hassle me. It's hot out there, and I didn't drop any bricks on my toes, so all is good, but I can understand how watching someone move gigantic bricks around in flip-flops might be quite alarming. I'm aware, not the wisest thing, but I did it, it's done, it's caught on camera, and now I generally try to wear steel-toed shoes when I'm moving bricks around. So let's just get into the video. I've got a lot to share, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I've been working really hard on this for the past few months, on and off. I've made these partitions, so now instead of one big tank, it's 3 separate tanks. So this section will be my future splash pool. Currently it is a terrifying mosquito breeding den, so I need to get this emptied. I've foolishly put the pipe in and blocked off the exit point before I did the floor. So the pipe is higher up than the actual bottom of the tank, so the water has nowhere to go. Here I've been slowly working on the floor, repairing holes and things. All of this is just rough. I'm going to come in at some point and do a proper plaster, or maybe even hire a professional for that. I don't know yet. So yeah, it looks kind of like a mess, but way less like a mess than it did before. I spent a good amount of time yesterday in the water tank. I was doing this floor here, and I also plugged a bunch of sort of craters in the bottom of it, some holes and things on the edge, and I also had a crack at rendering on the side. It was just a lot of mixing concrete and dumping it into holes mostly, and I didn't record it. The thing with the water tank is that time is of the essence, and I basically don't have an unlimited time to work on it, so filming is tricky. Filming is very time consuming, and so when I'm working on the tank, I kind of just want to get it done. Concrete will cure underwater, but I don't really know that much about it, and it does seem to take longer. And so in theory, if it's not fully cured and I fill the tank up, next time I drain it, it's going to take a whole bunch of concrete residue and stuff out of the tank with it onto my garden. And I'd prefer for that not to happen. I think it probably has happened a little bit, but anyway, my point is that rather than stopping and starting all the time and filming, at this stage, I'm just going full steam ahead. And so, yeah, I plugged a hole over here and all along the rock. I'll get a rock in there in the corner, something for here. I've been doing pointing on the wall, which is quite fun actually. And then the floor here, at least the base layer, is basically finished. I'm not exactly sure what's happening over here. It's still a bit soft because that's kind of where the water pools, but I'll leave that for another day or two and see what's happening there. But right now, the water will hopefully drain out as planned. The floor level is the same level as the pipe, so the water won't get stuck inside like it does here. This needs some kind of a solution. But that's my next project for the water tank. And yesterday I did a bunch of rendering. So I went up the wall a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if that stops the water leaking out in the front. I don't think so. I have a feeling the leak is somewhere within the pipe. So I don't exactly have a plan. It's very cramped in here. And I think what I'm gonna do is start on this wall because it has this meshy stuff on it, which I think will make it easier to plaster too. Just get it done and see how I go. I'm going to attempt today to power on a little bit with my splash pool. Well, it's not actually a splash pool, it's basically just a concrete square where mosquitoes have moved in. I foolishly made it so that water wouldn't drain out. It only kind of goes down to that level and then it sits there in the bottom and all of the creatures move in and it's become its own little ecosystem. So that's not ideal. I'm going to try to solve that problem today by basically building up the floor enough so that it slopes into the drain that I've made. I'm gonna get started in the wind tunnel under here. I've got Mikey here with me. Hey buddy, what's happening? What's that thing? Is it a worm? What is it? Don't eat that. Don't eat that thing. So last night when I drained my tank, I actually ended up scooping out a bunch of the water, using the broom to try to steer it into the little drain hole. So I've had a head start. I don't have too much more to clear out, so that's my first step. What do you think? Can I help? So right now my plan is to try to clean up just this back section here because I'm gonna, in theory, lay some bricks down. It's gonna be sort of a seat, and what that does is it means that I have less surface area to kind of tilt towards the drain. I can put the bricks in this back part, and then I only have this sort of more small area in the front to mess around with because I think getting the slope correct might be a little tricky. So right now I'm scraping and hosing, and then I'll clear all the water out and I'll see about laying some bricks down. So basically the pool will be built up one more level to this level. The water won't go to the very top because I'll have an overflow. So it might only go to there, which would kind of be to there. Which means for tall people, they'll be sticking out too much if I make the seat this tall. So I think I will make the seat a little shorter and then retest. Yeah, I think something like this will work a little better. I can still get my elbow up there as a short person, and I'll be submerged up to there, which I think is good. So maybe that's what I'll do. So it'll be one brick regular ways, and then the smaller brick sidey ways. Which means I need to get more bricks, but I have enough to get started. I could use my paddle drill for this job, but I find that when I'm doing mortar, I want things that are a little thicker. For render, if it's a bit more thin, it's fine, and I find with the paddle drill, it just makes it a bit harder to make a stiff mix, but with the shovel and water and just doing it by hand, it's easier to have better control over the mix. So that's why I'm doing this one with the shovel. When I do the floor part that doesn't have to support bricks, then I might switch over to the paddle drill, but I actually don't mind mixing concrete by hand. It's kind of I don't know, it's a good workout, and yeah, it's nice just to have the quiet. If I have a choice, I'll often use a hand tool and just kind of chill in the silence and enjoy the nature sounds rather than the motor sounds. Yeah, I don't know how thick I want it to be. I don't think I want it to go full width of a brick. It's too wide. Or is it? Let's see. Actually, yeah, that's good. Plenty of space for splashing over there. And I'll do sort of a bench seat here, possibly with stairs that maybe go up. Maybe I'll even extend this a little bit around the corner. I don't know, but right now I'm just going to lay the bricks, at least for the bottom layer. I'm probably going to fill the middle part with stones and concrete. And then, yeah, I think that's kind of a good start. Yeah, I like this. I think it's good. I think I have enough bricks to get the bottom part done. So I think, at least on one side, I'm going to angle grind these little horns off so I have a flat edge. Okay, I've cut off the sort of sticky outy bits, and this gives me a top brick that I can use to measure the whole way along, so I can lay them out. Actually, change of plan. I think because I have this concrete mixed up already, I don't actually really need to worry about the measurements or the front bricks. I'm just going to work on getting the back bricks in place. Get them in, make a new mix, and then I can faff around with the actual measurements. So for now, I'm just going to get the first bricks in place and then go from there. think this might take a lot more concrete than I was expecting. I'm gonna put my camera on charge and I'm just gonna power through a couple more mixes and then check in again soon. So I think you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm gonna put these other 2 bricks in place and then from there we'll see where I'm at. I don't have a huge amount of sand. I have loads of concrete, so we'll see if I have enough materials to keep going and if I have the energy. I'm gonna go have a coffee, charge my camera, and come back to this very soon. So it's just after noon, and I've been going pretty hard down here in the water tank, trying to get these bricks into place. The back bricks are already done, and I'd really love to get the last front brick in place. But that means that I also want to pack the middle part with stones. I'm going to mix up one more batch of concrete now, get some of the rocks in between the bricks, and then I think I have enough to do one more final mix of concrete, and then that'll be me. I think that'll be a pretty good day of work. I'll call it, and I'll let this cure for as long as possible. Probably refill the tank tomorrow morning. One sort of weird thing is that I keep clearing this water out, but it keeps sort of coming back, so I'm not really exactly sure where it's coming from. Could be oozing in from over here, that's my guess. So it's definitely not watertight. Water's getting in from somewhere, which means water can escape. But one day, I hope it will be. Okay, I'll put a little bit of concrete in, this little in-betweeny bit here, and then I'll pack it with rocks and concrete. Rocks and concrete, rocks and concrete. And what that does is makes it stronger, and it means that I use less concrete, which is good because I don't have much sand. So I'm just gonna get to it. So it turns out I ran out of energy before I ran out of sand, which is unfortunate because I feel like I'm kind of almost done. And that last little bucket of sand probably would have saw me through, but it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. I am very happy to have this shade up here, but it can only protect me for so long, and I think I need to go have some lunch and a siesta. I'm really happy with this morning of work, and I think that, yeah, I think I'm really digging the way the little seat thing is gonna turn out. You know, I didn't really design it in advance. It sort of designed itself on the fly. This will have bricks going across there. And I actually might do another one in the corner here so you can kind of sit across from people. That's assuming it becomes a social space. I can imagine myself sitting here in the summer, next summer, with a cocktail, a few friends, and just kind of hanging out. I think it's going to be a really neat space. I'll have a patio over here where all that crap is. Yeah, and it just, I don't know, it looks pretty cool down here, I think. I'll probably leave this project for another couple of weeks. There's a big heat wave coming next week, and there will be no work with concrete. There will be mostly hiding inside. So I'm going to say goodbye to this task. I'll have to continually keep it sprayed, and I'm probably going to fill my tank up tomorrow morning. I'll try to let it cure for a day before I fill it with water again. I would prefer to leave it for 2 or 3 days before I fill it up, but I don't have enough water. My garden tank is almost empty. My tree watering tank is empty because I accidentally left the tap on. Oops. I think it'll be fine after a day. I'll assess the hardness of the concrete and then I can see. So time to say goodbye to the water tank for a couple of weeks, and I'll be back in here hopefully sometime in August. Car tractor is back. And hilariously, this seat is kind of stuck for now, so I've had to put some bricks on the back seat. And I also have a bunch riding up front with me, riding shotgun. This should do me for a little while, at least for the weekend. I'll run out of sand definitely before I run out of bricks, but I also run out of energy before I run out of sand. So it works out okay, and I can top up on my sand next week and just keep pressing on with the work. And it's only about 9:15, but it's already too hot to be dealing with that, so I'm gonna take this out tomorrow morning, and it can live in my car until then. And so it's a new day, and I get to unload my car, even though I've barely woken up. But there's a coolness in the air. There's even some moisture around. That's nice. I might need to use my car today, so I'm gonna unload these guys now and liberate my car from building supplies. This is a rather tiring job for the morning, but I'm almost done. I still have to do the sand. And I've decided to just stage everything here up top because honestly, I can't bring myself to take them down there at the moment, and there's not really that much space. I need to tidy up, so now the sand. Okay, you get the idea. That's moving sand. I have to do it by bucket because obviously the larger buckets are too heavy to move. So bucket by bucket, shovel by shovel, I'm gonna get the sand from my car and put it over there to the staging area. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna go full steam ahead into the water tank and hopefully get a lot of stuff done. So I've plugged my pump in, and the pump is moving water from the tank through the pipe all the way up to the top tank. And you can hear it filling the tank up. Right now it's actually almost full. And so the idea is I fill all 3 tanks up as much as possible this morning, tonight, and then also Saturday morning. And then I'm going to empty the tank. And obviously the more water I have in my 3 IBC tanks, the longer I can leave my bottom tank empty, the longer the concrete has to cure, and the longer I have to work. So I'm going to be filling these tanks up as much as possible and using the water fairly sparingly over the next couple days. So it's about 9 a.m. and I've already been hard at it in the water tank, basically emptying out the water that sort of sits in the bottom, and that's where the floor I'm making today is going to be. So I had to scoop all the water out in preparation for that. So let me show you what I'm going to aim to get done today. I've been basically scooping and brushing water from this section out of that little hole, because as you can see, the hole is higher than the rest of the tank, which is not good for drainage. So my goal for today is to put the final stone in there, fill it with rocks, and then that gives me the base to go a little bit higher on the chair. And then I'm going to build up the floor, and it's going to be quite a bit of concrete. You can see that that's probably about I don't know, 4 or 5 centimeters of concrete on that side, and it needs to be higher over here so that it drains out. So that's why today I will be using my paddle drill. Life is too short to be mixing that much concrete by hand, so I'm gonna bust that guy out. And my goal for today, get that brick down, get the floor laid, but also put another little seat here that's probably gonna be made up of 3 bricks. So let's get started. This is sweaty work. I've learned that I tried to mix too much concrete at once in the bucket, so I've ended up having to mix a bunch by hand anyways, because all the sand got stuck to the bottom. So I really want to get these 3 bricks in place, which will go just here in the corner, right down there, and they'll look very similar to this, except for just be smaller. And this is what I've been doing today. So I laid this brick, and then I filled it all in. So I'm going to finish this off, and then I'm going to get started doing the same thing over in this corner. And I'll probably leave the floor part until tomorrow because it's hot as balls out here and concrete does not like it when it's hot as balls, and neither do I. So I'll get these last little bits in place. I'll get these 3 bricks down, hopefully finish that off, and then do the floor tomorrow. Oh, and the cats. Hi, Mikey. You want your breakfast, don't you? Yeah? Do you want your breakfast? Okay, I'm coming. You quality control? What do you think? Yeah? Okay, so here's where I'm at. I've basically put this 1 block in here and these 3 blocks in here. And I'm gonna fill in the space and get it ready for the next layer, which is gonna be a bunch of these ones on their sides. But that can wait for another day. The main thing I want to do tomorrow is gonna be getting this floor up to a level so that it drains out, so I don't have to always push the water through that pipe, which is ridiculous. So tomorrow's task, floor. I had fully intended on laying the floor today, but unfortunately that's something I need to do in one go, and I'm getting tired, so it'll be probably 3 batches of concrete at least. That's a lot of mixing. I've decided the paddle drill sucks. It leaves all this dry stuff at the bottom, so I just use the shovel. That's a lot of work. So instead of trying to do it today, I'm going to be up early tomorrow, out of the heat, and I'm going to get it done. And then hopefully that'll be some seriously major tasks in the splash pool section of my water tank finished. Okay, I think that's a pretty good place to end the video. The next one is going to be all about laying the floor inside the splash pool. And then we'll be caught up to 2023, present day, and we're going to push forward with some challenging but interesting things in the splash pool. And I'm so excited to have this thing done. I'm going to be working really, really hard on it. It's going to be my #1 priority because the summers here are awful, and having a place to splash around in after work, before work, during work, in the middle of the night, whatever, will be amazing. So I'll say goodbye. If you have any comments, questions, just want to say hello, leave me a message down below. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.